Hey everybody. Oh my gosh. Who is that funny person that keeps saying I should clear with Cheez-Its and Oreos and stuff? Okay. I'm gonna clear with a crazy wire creature. La, 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 la. How's that? And for everybody who can't stomach that weirdness, clearing. Okay, here is a divine feminine check-in. Let's do this. So let's get an archetype card for the divine feminines in their own right. What can we see? We are getting the underworld and the womb. Oh my gosh, and we're getting the temple and the starborn. Okay, so I'm going to start with the underworld. It's going to be a little bit of an in-depth reading. I can already tell I'm going to be getting a lot of reading going on here. Okay. The underworld. This is no time to mince words. The archetypal territory of the underworld is fraught with nightmares, suffering, and pain. It is the darkest shadow realm which we try to vigilantly avoid or deny at any cost. Try as we might, the darkness pulls us into its depth. Through disturbing dream images, unexpected accidents, illness, war, conflict, and ultimately death. Not visiting the underworld or denying its existence altogether is what gives it dangerous power. Traversing it forces us to bow humbly to the greater forces that be, while summoning the inner strength we previously underestimated. Take solace that the underworld subsumes everyone from time to time, making us deeper friends, more intimate partners, soldiers of light, and amid our shadowy times. Facing darkness and choosing light is the most profound calling of all. Okay, so, the depths that you reach on this journey, divine feminines, the devastation, the consuming, healing, triggering, rock bottom, heartache, loneliness, morbid curiosity, desperation, longing, extreme pain, gripping, all of it. To the extent that you have felt that, much love will be given. It's not for the faint of heart, divine feminines. When in the light, which in this case it was, bravery, depth, facing of deepest fears. Okay, let's see what the next one is. The womb. Everything has an origin story. The womb archetype asks us to contemplate the beginning beyond the beginning, the mother beyond the mother. In a world that often negates the power and necessity of feminine principles, this card returns us to the warmth, tenderness, and sacred intelligence from which we came. It is a card of receiving, not achieving, of accepting love from the mother of us all. She is the life-giving force that forgives and cherishes even the most wounded and desperate soul. No matter how lost you are, the womb awaits your return to help you heal and grow. This card is a call to keep things simple, to return, to be reborn in the name of love. The womb is everywhere. It is beyond gender, beyond time. We are within it as it is within us. I just heard while reading this, don't try to cling to your masculine in times of separation, initial separation, but go back into the nurturing mother womb of creation. Go back into that human place or beyond human place that makes sense to the incarnated souls. Go back into that nurturing of the Divine Mother. Find that safety. Don't long for the masculine in these times of solitude. Go back into the full nurture. Divine feminines, go back into that mothering. Mother yourself. Be mothered by existence. Okay, the temple. When we think of the temple, we often envision an architectural structure in a far-off land. We are quick to distance ourselves from the sacred, assuming we must expend much effort in order to achieve and arrive there. Yet the temple is a universal and omnipresent energy, accessible in the highest and lowest, richest and poorest of places. Visiting the temple might be as simple as stepping into a dappled light of the forest, slowly and sensuously kissing a lover, or closing our eyes to travel inward. This card is a call to re-examine what you pay homage to and what you reject. What do you spend your time worshiping? Your phone, money, material goods? What barriers do you draw between yourself and the sacred? Perhaps there is room on your altar for something new, something surprising. Offer it to the heavens. That's about seeing the sacred in the mundane. I call it the splendor. When things come alive and we see deeper meaning, brighter color, richer texture, crisper sound, all of it. When things come alive because we see them as more sacred, that's the temple embodiment. That's really living. Don't withhold the really living for some distant goal in the future. Embody it now. And starborn. An elusive yet radiant aspect of the self. The starborn archetype points to the cosmic spark of light that arrives with each being at birth. The moment the newborn crowns, the royal stars above are said to constellate in a unique shape that maps our path in the world. The idea of destiny is controversial, yet the starborn naturally feels a sense of destination and purpose, aiming itself towards the future that is beyond the mundane. When this card appears, travel back to your birth story for clues and insight. What did you desire when you were young? Practice seeing your life from a mythic point of view rather than from a series of logistics. Read the story of the three fates and envision yourself born under the stars with a unique destiny. The divine child, the star child, the destined. So all of you who find yourself here in my readings on the twin flame path, you are anchoring the collective divine feminine onto the planet. If you resonate with that, you are of it, and we are doing it. All right, let's have a look at some advice we can get for the feminines right now. I'm gonna just pull, let's pull some cards, some energies that we can go into. So for the divine feminines, what is it that we can see? The first one is love. I commit to the practice of seeing the good in all things, in the suffering, in the journey, in the beauty. You know, it's one thing to say see the positive in the difficult, but sometimes we don't appreciate the good times when it's happening. And there is some value in being grateful in the good times too, so that they're not missed on us. They're not taken for granted and dismissed when they're not there anymore. So I'm really getting, see the good in the good too. Take time to smell the roses and actually revel in that. Pause a little bit longer, divine feminines, when you experience something ecstatic, something blissful, and drink it in. Drink it in more fully. What can we see for this? How can we see this as a emotional level? Yeah, this is something that frees the mind, takes you out of the entrapment. Pause long enough when you are experiencing something blessed to revel in it so that you capture it and you are fully present with it. So in the times of drought, in the times of being in the desert, the energetic desert, you can draw on that to remind yourself, like it's fresh in your mind, the good in the good. It's a very interesting concept. What can we see on the conscious mind for seeing the good in all things? We get the burden, the perseverance. The first card that we got, what was it? The underworld. Yeah, the burden, the capacity building experiences. You've got this, divine feminines. Yes, self-sufficiency, resilience, bravery, wholeness, seeing the good in all things. This journey is creating a very extraordinary person out of you, but the kicker is you were already one of the chosen ones, so to speak, when you entered this journey, when you woke up to having met someone that you can deem on par with a twin flame level connection. You've already done so much work, so much overcoming, so much mastery, so much triumph in your life to get to a place where you could believe in something like this, where you could get behind it, where you could allow it to have its way with you and to create a super consciousness expansion in your life. Really see that. Really see that you qualified yourself for this by being of a certain alignment, by taking what life handed you and continuing to utilize it for good. 12-12, that's the foundation, that was the prerequisite, divine feminines, that have allowed you to excel in the matters of love and consciousness. You might say, but it's so hard. There are many people who in this lifetime will never experience a radiant love like a twin flame connection. You are so blessed, divine feminines. And if you are in a difficult period on the journey, this too shall pass, and it will support you more fully. Really allow the majesty of this journey to sink in and be in profound gratitude that you are someone that can experience this spectrum of life, aliveness. What can we see in the physical for divine feminines? Yeah, the temperance. This is masculine and feminine energy balancing, and even one step further, neutrality. At certain times on the journey, we have egoic classifications as to where we're at in the healing, the balancing. We cheer ourselves on, we boast. There's all different kinds of ways of relating to that. But when we come into neutrality, we see that we are a piece of the collective. That as we share in the knowledge that we are human, we are one. We're one little tiny human, and we're also so connected to the whole that everything we experience is part of the human condition. And that as we experience those things, we can see the good in it, we can see the direction we're meant to go with it, and we can cheer the rest of humanity on through the way that we value these experiences and sincerely have gratitude that we are able to be so sentient. Okay, let's get into a divine feminine daily check-in. I'm going to use the after tarot so that we can see what's sort of coming up in the energy. It's sort of a nudge for divine feminines watching. This will be kind of what the next steps on what the feminine collective is thinking, feeling, etc. for their divine masculine. And for divine masculines watching for their divine feminine, this will help you see where your divine feminine is at. So thank you, Divine Creator, for using me as a channel of only the highest, most beneficial information coming through for the twin collective. What can we see for how the divine feminines are thinking of the connection and of their counterpart? How the divine feminines are feeling on their heart space for the journey and for their divine counterpart. How the divine feminines are wishing for things in their own life and for the connection. What actions are the feminines taking in their own right and for the connection? What is the biggest challenge for the feminines at this time? What is the spirit-guided solution for that challenge? Where are the energies going in the near future? I'm also going to get, let's see, got this deck. I'm just going to pull some cards from this to see what it's doing to the connection. And then I'm also going to pull some Starseed Sirian Starseed cards for some instruction for you feminines. Yeah. Okay. Conscious mind for the connection. What are the feminines thinking? Okay. 2 messages. Pardon me. This is a gardening card, a waiting card. Divine feminines are done waiting. They're not in waiting energy. They're picking up this pentacle, their hoe, and they're walking on. They have taken things from this connection that they will invest elsewhere. They are going forward with what they've learned. Divine feminines might be wishing to invest in other connections. They're prioritizing their happiness. What can we see? Loneliness. I'm getting tired and tongue-tied, but the messages are good. Try again. I know that I am never alone. Loneliness, exactly. So divine feminines, you're no longer sitting in this waiting for your masculine in the loneliness. You're putting one foot in front of the other and going out and finding your happiness. You're not waiting for your happiness to come to you. You're so receptive to it that you don't have to wait around for it. You're going to receive it where it authentically is, not where you think it should come from. What can we see for the feminines who are in that motion? Passion, inspiration, aliveness coming in for you. So divine feminines, if you are in this energy of knowing that you're never alone, you are truly supported in all things. This is that soul fire that burns bright with you. The force is strong with you, divine feminines. And so you know, this is a little piece of your divine counterpart. This is a little piece of them along with you. And so divine masculines watching, your divine feminine is not forgetting you, rejecting you, denying you. That door is open, but they are going for their happiness because they are not in scarcity. They are not in longing and loneliness that is going to harm them. They are using the force to go forward in their lives. What can we see for how the feminines are thinking about their divine counterpart? Magician and the movement of wands, the Knight of Wands. So both of these are, yeah, so some divine feminines out there are literally wondering if you divine masculines or, you know, viewer, if you've manipulated or tricked or been a player. They're wondering if you did this intentionally, how much knowledge of the connection you have, if you're using it for the powers of good. They are wondering how aware you are, how awake you are. Because if you are awake, it's not very cool. So divine feminines, please be aware that your divine masculine is not God. They're learning on this journey, you know, I mean, there is that God self, that aspect, but your divine counterpart is learning this journey as we go, just like you are. Nobody has it all figured out. It's about the journey. It's about the becoming. And so divine feminines also no longer want to manipulate or manifest, hot and cold, ghosting. They want to deepen. They want to go further with this. They want to have its supportive energy between the twins. Gratitude. I'm thankful for this life and the opportunities that it presents. So this is sort of that underworld energy. The divine feminines are disconnecting, letting go, 2211, from the divine counterpart being the one that doles out their happiness or not based on whether or not they are coming forward or communicating. Divine feminines are just thankful for it all and thankful for the lessons to show that they get to decide what they engage with. Advice for the feminines: strength. You've become so strong and humble, I just heard. So because you're no longer insisting that the things that you are attached to and expecting come true, you're softening into this refining fire that allows for reality to delight you, surprise you, support you. Instead of thinking it's out there or far, you're not only becoming content, but you're becoming joyful at what is in every moment. What are the divine feminines feeling on their heart space for the connection? Whether they wished for it or not, divine feminines are feeling the progress. They're seeing their mindsets shifting, seeing the growth. Purpose. I know what I'm here to do. So with enough growth, with enough love, with enough understanding of what love is, divine feminines are slowly seeing their purpose, their true soul print, their true calling, their true source of abundance coming through them. The channel is open. They're focused more on the journey and the path now than the union at this time. Advice for the feminines? Yeah, major foundational shift from this being about a romantic connection and now falling in love with self, falling in love with source, catching stride with the process of growth. What are the feminines feeling on the heart space for you, Divine Masculine? The World and the Naked Heart. The Naked Heart is a card of purpose that transcends the world, the higher purpose, the divine purpose. They know that you've been a part of their becoming this way. They could not have done it without the lessons that you mirrored, Divine Masculines. Divine Feminines know that the journey has been hand in hand with their purpose, with the heart for humanity, with their heart for relationships and discernment of frequencies and navigation on all these levels. Adversity, I accept the challenges are the best way to learn. So Divine Feminines know that all the different seasons of this connection has created the catalyst to qualify them for these extraordinary missions. Advice for the feminines. I just heard my funny God voice in my head that says, "Don't you know, my child?" Oh my goodness. Did I get that from Monty Python? I don't know. Don't you know, my child, that anything responsible for contributing to this extraordinary type of a outcome is not over yet? Don't you know, my child, that you will meet again, that it's not about closure for the heartache, it's about reunion for the celebration. Don't you know, my child? Ugh. Look at it that way, Divine Feminines. A few messages in this reading have been asking the feminines to switch from being overwhelmed and preoccupied with the things that don't go the right way to reveling in the good, being deeply receptive to the love, knowing that if things feel uncertain or left hanging, it's because it's not over. It's not a cruel trick. It's not finished yet. It's not written in stone. What are the Divine Feminines wishing for this connection at this time? Passion, fun, adventure, to see where it can go, curious about if the next time they connect with their Divine Masculine, if there will be chemistry. And patience, I accept that everything happens in divine order. Three of Wands is like patience, but there is a growing anticipation. More positivity welling up. Advice for the feminines? You're allowed. You're allowed to feel the goodness of this connection. It's much better to be wrong when feeling the goodness and to feel foolish and naive than to waste your energy and time on mulling in grief unnecessarily. So don't tell yourself it's foolish. Don't hurt yourself with getting ahead of yourself unrealistically. But if there is cause to be grateful, don't withhold that. Don't be superstitious. Don't be in scarcity. Appreciate that you love. What are the feminines wishing for the connection? To have the new beginning in divine time, in divine order and humor. I choose to focus on the lighter side of life. So divine feminines are just looking for laughter, for joy, for unusual angles to this thing to kind of bide the time, but becoming playful while trusting that when it's appropriate, the energy and the connection will come back around. This is a card of ascension, and because we just got the humor, I imagined all the divine feminines rushing up this staircase and sliding down on their butts and having fun, even with ascension. Going up and down the dimensions, the chakras, learning how to scale the stairs and playfully slide between the dimensions. So divine feminines, you can play with this stuff. You don't have to take the journey and ascension so seriously. You can actually master the tools so that you can find the lightness in it. So you can play with it. What are the divine feminines doing at this time on the journey? Looking at the higher love and making sure they've gotten it all right. Checking their attitude at the coat check at the door. They're deciding what needs to be left behind as far as attitude and sort of some housekeeping, getting rid of certain assessments of the divine masculine, of the way things have played out, things that the divine feminines don't have proof of, things that the divine feminines' imaginations have cooked up about what their masculine is up to or how they feel or what they think. Divine feminines are letting go of those assumptions. They're not making the divine masculines the bad guy, demonizing the divine masculine's actions. They're seeing things through empathy and a higher light. Peace. I am a being of love and I release all negative energy. Yeah, Queen of Swords in the reverse is quite a bitchy energy. So divine feminines are releasing that. That's the karma, the collective feminine karma, the disintegrated toxic femininity. Divine feminines, it's not to say you are naive. It's that you don't want to manufacture anything. This is the card of sovereignty, not codependency. And so you're good on your own. Just don't engage with things that have red flags, and you won't put yourself in harm's way. Don't put yourself in harm's way, and you won't have to clean up karma. Releasing negative energy means that you won't align with negative energy. And that's its own protection. That's its own reward. You're not selfish for not putting yourself in harm's way, divine feminines. What are the divine feminines' actions towards their divine counterpart right now? Aligning with the humble truth of the energetics and not just the 3D, but really going deeper with it. Divine feminines are looking at what really matters, the love that runs through this story. Pride. I love myself and I see myself in everyone. The lion, pride. Look at all that confidence, the sunny yellow. This is truly empowering, divine feminines, when you look at the energetic truths of this scenario. And not necessarily what meets the eye, but something so much more splendorous than the 3D alone. This grand love story that you're writing with your counterpart. What a beautiful dance. The grand yoga. Soul level flexibility. There's that high priestess. This is the secret of the High Priestess, the ability to receive it all, empathize with it all. I see myself in everyone. There's nowhere to go, nothing to achieve. It's all this blessed observation in the High Priestess energy. It's a knowing of the inner workings of it all. Mercy, humility, compassion, vision, insight, understanding, wisdom. Divine feminines are truly seeing this connection through those eyes. And I heard, we can barely recognize ourselves from where we've come. What is the biggest challenge for the feminines? The paradox of feeling the love with all our hearts and the divine masculines appearing to be keeping distance in the connections. Abundance. I'm a limitless being and I can manifest whatever I desire in the physical reality. So the challenge is, no matter how much the divine feminines think they're ready and want this, the masculines seem to be holding back. The irony with this card is it's about letting the love envelop us and overwhelm us with its truth. I'm already getting the message, divine feminines. Love itself is the fabric of existence. This whole journey is steeped in love. It's not meant to be something as insignificant as words from your counterpart. If your divine counterpart is not fully expressing mutual desire to deepen in this, be receptive to the splendor of the whole darn journey, so that if your counterpart were to try to put into words the magnificence of this journey, the only thing that you could say is, I know. Because nothing they can say could do it justice. It's that good. What is the spirit-guided solution for this challenge? Seeing the abundance for what it is everywhere. Seeing it already inherent in yourself. Enjoying the journey, enjoying the ride. Knowing you'll never reach the destination. It's all the journey. We're eternal. We never get to the end. I just heard, and we incarnate on planets like this to go through the density up into the light, time after time. Courage. I find the inner strength to face fear with confidence. Fear looks like things feeling impossible. There is nothing that you cannot see differently and overcome. Hanging man. This is yes or no. Don't forget to ask for understanding. Don't forget to petition the divine for solutions to fear. Ask for the truth that sets you free with any thought you're having that limits your joy, that seems to have power over you. Ask It's a spiritual law. Ask and it is given. Ask to be shown. Ask to be shown the splendor. What is the direction of this connection? Oh, we just got the High Priestess in the reading I uploaded earlier with this card about tying the knot, sealing the deal, unifying the two, joining the two valid truths of the feminine and the masculine. It just came out like this, and this is an anchor. In the other reading I said anchoring the connection, and now we're seeing anchoring the connection to the higher knowing, to the divine. And the High Priestess here. So the connection is going in the direction, divine feminines, that you are anchored into your divine understanding. That it's not about, you know, dragging the two down and being a heavy weight here. It's literally the proper focus, giving buoyancy to the two, uplifting the two, pulling the two higher. Receive that new template, that the combination of two can and will be effervescent, receive and prepare to actually experience love, divine feminines. Discipline. I can accomplish what I set my mind to. That confidence, the soul confidence, the knowing of that is what allows for harmony to come in. It's when there's a power struggle that two are not one. When there's separation, segregation. When you're in the knowing that you can accomplish what you set your mind to, there's always a win-win. There's always a way. And this is saying to look higher together, to remind each other and to remind yourself that there's always a love-filled way to look at things. This is the beautiful message, to be receptive to this and to see. I just heard so many counterparts are going to be celebrating this awareness that there has been an arrival in these connections to the proper focus together on the higher. And we are getting, this is the energetic requirement to move this forward multidimensionally against all odds to impossible heights. It's so exciting when I channel these messages to know, and the private readings that I do, that there are so many of us all over the planet doing this together. That makes me really, really feel good for humanity at this time on the planet. Many blessings, everyone. Bye for now.